Piquet approaches the finish line. The checkered flag is out. Nelson Piquet wins the German Grand Prix. Now we wait for Ayrton Senna to come home. And he does so. Ayrton Senna and Rosberg is running out of fuel. Mansell could finish up a place. Senna crosses the line, running out of fuel. And Prost is stopping. Fantastic.
Yes, and Senna was out of fuel as well. And Prost is just trying to bounce the car along. It's downhill-ish from where he is, and Mansell is coming round, and Mansell is going to pick up another place. Mansell's going to pass Prost.
Oh, this is incredible. Look at Prost winning his car home, and Mansell's passed him. Nigel Mansell passes Prost. The Frenchman out of the cockpit, and Nigel Mansell is home. And he's going to fit. Let's have a look. Nigel Mansell finishes in 3rd position. That is going to do his World Championship chances no harm at all. Prost is not going to finish. He's pushing the car. What a fantastic finish to the German Grand Prix. I've never seen this before quite like this. Nigel Mansell at Dallas trying to push his car home. It's illegal. Prost may push his car home, but it will be illegal. He will not be allowed to count his finish. Meantime, Berger passes him, and the race order is victory for Nelson Piquet. In 2nd position, Senna. 3rd position, Nigel Mansell. 4th is René Arnoux, and Alain Prost is giving it best. That's it. Zouk alors, or whatever the appropriate French epithet is.
Not to pull him in a very significant fashion, but I don't think that Nigel is going to be able to go the rest of the race. And oh dear, Streps Tyrrell has really sparked up a little blaze, and he'll want to park it near a fire extinguisher if he possibly can, and he'll also want to get out of there pretty quickly. And that has suddenly become quite a big fire.
And where are the marshals? There's a chap doddering along with an extinguisher, and I wonder if... And the marshal has got the wrong gear on. He should have a fireproof suit. There's a lot of petrol in that car, and there should be a lot more marshals around there. This is not good marshalling. The chap is obviously either frightened or unsure of his equipment, or whether there's a second one. And of course, if this fire extinguisher smoke or powder drifts across the circuit, it's going to make things very difficult indeed for people coming out of the Virage du Pont, which is the last right-hander before the start and finish straight, which leads into the new link. They're in the wrong place. The fire tender should be behind the car, and that's game and set. Now the fire extinguisher hose has been disconnected from the tank. A brilliant performance.
直撃でしたからね、本当。ファビがびっくりしてますからね、隣で、グリーンのレーシングスーツのテオファビが
なんかかけてますね、お水。
まあ、ピケもそうですけれども、これは直撃で相当痛い、まあ、なんかヘルメット気にして見えてなかったこのバーがね、見えてなかったんですけれども、解説しなくたって分かりますね。大変です。救急車、表彰式。当時表彰式出ないと$5000罰金ですから、ナイジェルどんなに痛くても出なければいけないという、これがルールですね。ザンマリー・バレストの会長も来ました。
勝者の様子ではありませんが、ちょっと痛いんでしょうね。
そうですね。このシュタイアマルクというのがこの地方のなんていうんでしょう、公共団体でスポンサーを務めていたわけですけどね。
さあということで、このマンセルの圧勝という感じになりました。
やっぱりこのナイジェル・マンセルという愛すべき速いブンブンいくマンセルの良さっていうのが十分に出たし、ピケはピケでね、うまうまとここも2位で滑り込んでポイントリーダーワールドチャンピオンへの道を突っ走っていくことになっていくわけですよね。そしてセナ映像はあまりなかったですけれども、彼の頑張る速さで、プロストいろいろあってトラブルなんだけれども、1点なんとやっても取るぜというね、そういった彼のレースのうまさ、しぶとさ、この87年の4人の男たちの物語がこの一戦には出ていたなと今改めて思います。
そして3位にはファビが入りました。 こういった表彰台、まだ歯を押さえて、そしてその後頭を振ってという
Right down below us, Nigel Mansell just creeping, crawling along. He's sitting up in the cockpit directly in front of us. Totally exhausted. Nigel Mansell just standing in his car and getting a tremendous round of applause from about 20 rows of... Here is Mansell pushing his car.
Crowd going absolutely wild as Nigel Mansell tries to push his car over the line. At the end of 67 laps, that's going to be a hard job. There's another car stopped on the start-finish line as well. Somebody else probably ran out of fuel and just coasted over the line.
Nigel Mansell currently in 5th place, and here's the man that's going to beat him, about to go by him. Down across the line comes Genzani in the blue car. Mansell still trying to score a point, pushing his car.
Mansell's pushing in this searing heat, and surely that's too much even for him. And it is. He's fainted, and past him to 5th place goes Genzani in the Osella.
Incredible effort by Nigel Mansell, the man who sat on the pole. He cannot be assisted. He has to do it by himself, and he collapses about 400 feet shy of the line. Nigel Mansell collapsing beside his car. 400 feet. He did not score a point. Piercarlo Genzani took the final point from him as he climbed from his car and then tried to push it across the line. He ran out of fuel just at the final corner.
He ran out of fuel and ran out of energy. To push a car like that at the end of a race like that almost would be absolutely impossible.
Nigel Mansell trying every effort, every sinew. Just an unbelievable effort. And if one wants to know how serious World Championship Formula One is, that is it. 100+ degree temperature for 2 solid hours, no relief, no alternate, no defensive unit to put in. He was there for every inch of this track. Then he had to try and push his car home.
There's basically no other game in the world apart from the marathon itself where you do extend yourself in 2 hours. Arnaux's got his helmet off, trying to get some fresh air in there.
The winner now coming in. The ambulance is coming out for Nigel Mansell, who has collapsed, trying to bring his car across. They're saying that he will still get the 6th point, that Mansell will get the 6th point as the flag was out.
Sterling efforts out there by a number of people. Obviously, a great day for the Honda Williams team, coming 1st and 2nd. Reasonable day for Lotus, both finishing in the points. Ferrari did great. Arnaud had a great race, coming from the back of the field to finish a very strong 2nd. And a lot more finishes, in fact, than we had thought.
Piercarlo Genzani will get the 5th position. Mansell will get the 6th on the finish. Genzani scoring for Team Osella. And Nigel Mansell, with this valiant effort, short today. Short by scant feet from finishing this race. Now being taken into the ambulance. Remember, we saw him in Detroit, being assisted, talking to Chris Economaki at the end of that race. And the crowd still applauding this dramatic finish by this very brave man.
They need to take him away and get him put down in some ice. Only the 2nd time ever in this race that Osella have scored any points. So they'll be pretty happy.
The winner, Rosberg, for Team Williams. Arnaud gets 2nd, and Elio De Angelis will be 3rd.
So, victory in the first Dallas Grand Prix to Keke Rosberg, with Arnaud 2nd, De Angelis 3rd, Lafitte 4th, Genzani 5th, and Mansell 6th. So the crowd has seen the result they wanted, but Piquet up on the rostrum is looking very, very dodgy indeed. He's fainting. Rosberg and Prost hold him up. And this is sensational. The race winner has fainted, and he's disappearing behind the rostrum. But Nelson Piquet has undoubtedly won. They can't take that away from him. Rosberg 2nd, Prost is 3rd, and with the ambulance waiting, Piquet gets back onto the rostrum, and we look forward now to the Long Beach Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time.
result they wanted, but Piquet up on the rostrum is looking very, very dodgy indeed. He's fainting. Rosberg and Prost hold him up. And this is sensational. The race winner has fainted. And he's disappearing behind the rostrum. Rosberg second. Prost is third.
Senna's in trouble, could be fuel, so Senna slowed right down out of the blue, and one would hand there is Stefan Johansson right behind him. So, Stefan Johansson sets the challenge, and if that's fuel, Senna has no chance of making it. He's slowed right down. Stefan Johansson goes into the lead. What an amazing turn up, and this looks as if Stefan Johansson in his second drive for Ferrari. When the car's very low on fuel, you wobble it around on the track, throw it from side to side, you try and slosh the fuel about that's left in the tank, get it into the collector pot, and thereby into the engine. Would think that Johansson has little chance of even being running.
And to confirm that, with Johansson out of the race too, he will be into his last 3-mile lap, and Nelson Piquet is out too.
Yes, this extremely fast pace has really caused havoc.
He's going to do it. Alain Prost is going to win for the second year in succession. Out of the last corner he comes, a victory he probably never expected to get. In Brazil and Estoril, Thierry Boutsen has run out of petrol on the starting line as the checkered flag goes out for Elio De Angelis to finish in second place. Boutsen was third, and Patrick Tambay is a lap behind him, and Stefan Johansson. And that is Niki Lauda touring in. Now, very unofficially, with Boutsen. There's Boutsen pushing in. He's got his front wheels across the line. He's got to get his rear wheels across the line. And now he has done so. So Boutsen has finished. And it's really a matter of conjecture, with Johansson doubling in to receive congratulations and plaudits all round, and well deserved. The fact is that with Prost having run out of fuel on the rundown lap, that's how close it was in this incredible San Marino Grand Prix. Prost has won it. Prost leads the World Championship. De Angelis is in second position, that is for sure. Boutsen third, Tambay fourth, Lauda fifth, Mansell sixth, and I bet we'll never see a Grand Prix more exciting than that. Michele Alboreto thought, and you now see Prost completing his 51st lap. So he's got 8 laps to go around this 3.13 mile, just over 5 kilometre course to complete
the San Marino Grand Prix of 1986, having won the year before last, and having thought he won last year. And he was bitterly disappointed last year because he was congratulating himself on what a fine race he had driven, because he had deliberately not allowed himself to go as fast as he could have gone, knowing that his fuel wouldn't last if he did. And to show how well Alain Prost, that you're looking at leading this year's race, judged his fuel last year, he actually ran out of fuel on the rundown lap, having taken the checkered flag first, only to find that his team engineers had made a miscalculation on weight and possible fuel consumption, due presumably to the speed of the race, and it was a mere 2 kilograms underweight that took the win away from Prost last year. And I can't imagine that that will happen this year.
The extraordinary thing is, out front, Prost is so confident, or he's judged things so well, he's got so much in hand, he is still actually increasing the gap.
Desperately frustrating, of course, when you know you can go faster, but you can't, because if you do so, you will consume your allowed fuel before the end of the race. Well, that's the regulations. So 1 Prost leads, 2 Rosberg second, 6 Piquet that you're looking at third, 27 Alboreto is fourth, and Piquet for second place, and this is a poor pit stop for Alboreto.
And Piquet's really flying, he's reduced the lap record again.
And a marvellous boost for Brabham, because that means to say that Riccardo Patrese will go up a place, and there is Piquet taking Rosberg, who's stopping, slowing right down. Out of the race goes Keke Rosberg.
And I'm sure Rosberg, or I would strongly suspect that Rosberg, pressured by Piquet, used too much boost, and his eyes went to his mirrors rather than to his fuel gauge, and I think Piquet has probably forced him into that. Not so Alain Prost, who still enjoys a 23-second lead, and he waited, as I predicted, till he changed tyres, and then he went for a blistering pace. He came out of the pits with the boost turned up, with plenty of fuel, and Prost has slowed right down, and Prost is out of fuel. So Prost is, you see him waggling the car, that is to try and shake some petrol into the thing. He's within sight of the line. If he can just limp, he'll make it. And they're all running out again. He's got to put the engine, and Prost is going to make it because he can coast it to the line from here, surely.
But Berger is right behind him and was in third place and seems to have caught Piquet. Prost is crossing the line, but Berger's going to get there before him. But Berger's slow, and Prost is across. Now, Spain was fantastic, but San Marino has been even more incredible. That is exactly what happened to Alain Prost last year, except that he's run out of fuel even earlier than he did last year on the rundown lap. Now, Berger was a lap behind Alain Prost. Let's have no confusion about that. So Alain Prost has won.
Jean Alesi in the Tyrrell is being push-started off the grid, or they're attempting to get his car push-started. And here we see it. Lots of strong men giving him a push, and I would think it looks to me a bit as if he's got a waterlogged engine. And it's juddering a bit, but doesn't appear to be catching. And it looks as if Alesi is being pushed back into the pit road and away to retirement. And of course now they've got the car stuck on the curb, they're very low, no suspension movement, and handling it a bit, but at least he's out.
Arnoux taking Eddie Cheever and losing it. Well, René Arnoux, last Grand Prix ever, and he's beat
having a chance today to show his talents in the most extremely difficult conditions.
And hats off, incidentally, to the 2 Williams drivers, because although the gap... And off goes Alesi, water skiing across the infield as he's gone past the Adelaide Racecourse entrance, Victoria Park Racecourse entrance. He slid onto the grass, that's where Prost went on.
The conditions are impossible, and there you see her coming together. Nigel Mansell takes the front wing of his Ferrari off, then removes the wing of Valio's car. Alain Prost, in fact, did not start this race out of choice, and there you see another incident. That's one of the US F&G cars. He's had contact. It's Derek Warwick, pouring rain for him, getting out of the office and closing it. Here you see the replay in his car. He strikes, he goes off, he spins a 360, he hits the wall, and there he's knocked his wheel right off. The wheel has come back into the cockpit.
Ayrton Senna has gone through, and there is Emanuele Pirro all around the circuit. Cars are spinning out of contention. Ready this season in an incredible season. There's a spinner, and that is Nigel Mansell. Now, there was some confusion earlier on that spin. We're looking back now. We were looking back, and there's Patrese. He's lost it. Boutsen is going to go through back into second place.
Yes, I think that was a replay, because we saw Boutsen back in second place just a moment ago, following Like Brundle's travel, of course. There we see with the rearward facing camera, and Senna looks as if he's just driving away from some sort of drama.
Yes, there's drama all around the circuit. Martin Brundle's camera looking back at Leto. We'll probably see something from that soon. And Martin Brundle, that you see there, is in 10th position. Leto has worked his way up to 11th. And there's Senna. Senna spinning. Spin. Round he goes. Now, has he kept his cool? And he's got enough of a gap between himself. And there's De Cesaris. You see, they're all going off in the same place. And that's where they went off this morning. That's on the right-hander between Jones Straits, Brundle Road, and you see the wheel spin as Senna, as De Cesaris.
And Boutsen was back through again, so now it's got to start all over again, and that looks like De Cesaris at it again at the same corner. 24 seconds behind Nannini in third place.
Martin Brundle in major trouble, no rear wing, he's gone off somewhere. Senna is only got 3 wheels. My goodness, Senna is out of the Australian Grand Prix. We are going to have a new race leader, and as in Canada, it is going to be Thierry Boutsen, followed by Patrese.
He may do a build-up and try and drive the rest of the race on 3 wheels. And there's the Tommy on the curb yet again.
That was the Senna-Brundle crash. You see there the replay. The backwards-facing camera from Martin Brundle's car saw the McLaren bearing down on it. Well, this is the sensational development that finally rivets the World Championship, because there was possibly going to be, well, there was going to be contention if Senna had won this race, but even Ayrton Senna, if he comes in as he did in Japan, where he had a new nose cone put on, there is no way they're going to put a new left front suspension on the McLaren. And that means to say that Alain Prost is probably feeling pretty happy and perhaps a touch smug in the pit.
And we are speculating here that he may have made contact. And there's Caffey, Alex Caffey, having a little reversing practice there into the wall. He won't want to practice that too often, and his teammate, De Cesaris, stuck on the curb, so they're out of it.
The Australian Grand Prix, he is leading Riccardo Patrese, his teammate, by 10 seconds. Alessandro Nannini is in third place.
Their decision, and still that car seems to be very truly stuck. Indeed, but they'll get it out of the way, hopefully.
Leto is out of the race, so is René Arnoux, and what will be his last race, that's Gruyere, that's his teammate in the Ligier. He spun a couple of times. Berger had an accident. Alio had a coming together with Berger, and he's out of it. Derek Warwick hit the wall, he's out. Senna.
And yellow flags there, there's a lot of debris on the circuit. Oh dear, that's a replay, I think, of what has happened. And Chiva having a... Oh, sorry.
It's Piquet and the Osella of Pier Carlo Ginzani. Nelson Piquet on the circuit. Here's the replay. Ginzani, and thump into the back of him, and up his car goes Piquet.
Yes, and that, you see, Piquet couldn't see him. He was braking a little bit earlier than Piquet expected. He could only see a wall of spray. And that really, and you see the wheel still on the track there. Debris, very dangerously placed. Massive waving of yellow flags. There's Nannini, the leader, free yet. And he must be really enjoying himself, and that's more action than Griard, I think.
Indeed it is, and another one out of the race to join his teammate René Arnoux and incur the wrath yet again of Guy Ligier, who had fired the Frenchman anyway before this race, and now surely they will have to stop the race, because if ever I saw a car in a position of danger, that's it. They'll be coming round that bend, not knowing that Griard's Ligier is lying stricken in the middle of the circuit. Boutsen avoids it. Will the others? Trying to get past that wall of spray.
Boutsen has got the message. He has responded. New fastest lap of the race for Thierry Boutsen. And now pushing the lead out again.
Eddie Cheever going off, but just holding it. And whilst Boutsen is going quicker and quicker, and Eddie Cheever is trying to get going, never mind go quicker. He's stalled it, he's lost the engine, he's got the right front wheel off the ground, you can see it spinning there. He's not only stalled the engine, but he beats the car. Now it's rolling backwards, he's on the surface. And there is the battle for sixth position between Pierluigi Martini in the yellow, white and black Minardi and the challenging Emanuele Pirro. Replay of Eddie Cheever. Let's watch and see what happens. Loses it. Left lock. Up over the curb. Yes. Coming any second now. Just missed the curve. You can see it in the foreground. He stops. Rolls forward. Over the curb. And walks away. A disgusted Eddie Cheever is out of his last Grand Prix for Arrows. And I think he's going to be very glad indeed to see.
But look at this. This is lap 44, and Senna is attacking again. He's back with Prost, he's reduced the gap, it's still behind them. Nannini, Mansell in the smoking Ferrari is still fourth.
And that's as close as Senna has been at any stage at this point on the circuit. He came before the pits, and there you see what happens in these cars. Their acceleration is so great that the leader will always get the power on first.
Who started, and if Prost comes up to any of them, this is the opportunity that Senna's looking for, and he's going through. Ouch! Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. They meet. This is what we were fearing might happen during the race, and that means to say that Prost has won the World Championship. Alain Prost, World Champion of 1989.
And just look at this, because Ayrton Senna, who can get going again, but he's been pushed, that's outside assistance, and I'm afraid to say that that is all over for Ayrton Senna, and it was his own fault because of the slow corner. He wasn't past Prost, and he went into a gap, and Prost had every right to turn into him there. And I'm afraid that was self-inflicted. Senna has got going again. He's back on the track, but he will for sure be disqualified for receiving a push start there.
As I said before, rather than somebody that has never set his bum in the car. Here's a scene again now of... see, there's just two guys wanting the same piece of road at the same time. And you learn to leave all those things that could affect your driving behind in the pits. When they get in the cockpit of the car, they just concentrate on getting that car around the circuit as quickly as they can, as safely as they can.
Just going back to the row that's going on, if action was taken by the governing body against McLaren, might some of the other car groups support McLaren, take a stand?
Yes, I think that's very likely. I think that if FOCA, which is the Formula One Constructors Association, found that McLaren had been unfairly dealt with by FISA, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see them stand up and form, I hate this word, but a union to go against FISA. I could see this happening very easily.
Okay, Alan, well, thanks for talking to us.
Deep inside, to fight against it and to prove that what I'm doing there is a reason for, and what I'm doing has values, and only motivates me to fight right to the end at any cost, and whatever happens, that maybe once we can bring some justice to the sport and to our activity. Home, not coming to Australia, and I thought about racing in Australia, and then not coming after Australia. So many things have gone through my mind, but as I said before, I am a professional, I have a responsibility, and I'm also a human being, and the values I have in my life are stronger than any other people's desire to influence those values and to destroy those values. Therefore I'm here, and I'm gonna race here and do my very best.
Evan, what do you think of Alain Prost the man? Not the driver, not the teammate, but Alain Prost the man.
I wouldn't have good words, and therefore I rather not comment, because when you have a position like a racing driver has with success, you have a lot of credibility, and people tend to believe what you say. And I'd rather use my words for building up something positive, constructive, than destructive.
決勝を前に恒例のブリーフィングが始まる。
高いあの V12 のハイテクカンツォーネだ。グリーンフラッグが振られた。まもなくスタートです。さあ誰が第1コーナーに飛び込むか。今スタートを切りました。さあセナが出る。セナがアウト。ブラッドからだ。ブラッドがアウトから出ました。ブラッド2番手から出ました。セナを上回るか。セナがいいよっていいよって。接触いきなり接触。真っ白な砂煙。2台とも接触。これ赤旗ですね。いや赤旗にならないと思いますね。なりませんか。だいぶサンドトラップに突っ込んでる。とんでもないことだ。セナプロスト接触だ。
日本グランプリナイジェル・マンセルのスタートシーン。
問題のあのシーンですが、ナイジェル・マンセルの目にはこう見えたわけですね。
ですがファン心理としては赤旗出てほしいんですが、
ただですね、2台とも完全にサンドトラップの方に行きましたから、走るということに関しては、レースを続行するということに関しては今のところあまり危険というふうには見えないんですね。ですからどうですかね。
Monument to an unsatisfactory conclusion to a battle which had raged all season long. The new world champion was unrepentant, so too was his boss Ron Dennis.
Ayrton Senna, I've heard that you've recently run the World Championship. Have you got something to say about this?
It's over. I think for sure I want to win the race today, in the same way I won in '88 to win the championship. Unfortunately, it went wrong on the first corner. There was a big risk. I had nothing to lose on the first corner. I want to win, and I went for a gap in inside on the first corner. Alan didn't see it and just closed the door, and we ended up touching. That's too bad for the championship, because I'm sure the race would have been full of excitement. But last year I lost in a similar manner towards the end of the race instead of the beginning, and this year went wrong for him. In a race like this, where you're fighting for the championship, you have to go for everything, and as it happened in many other occasions in the past, there have been accidents in the first corner. I was on pole. Prost did a better start, but on the first corner I was coming faster than him. I had a better engine acceleration, and there was a gap. I went for it. He closed the door, and then was nothing I could do to avoid the contact. If he had not closed the door, nothing would have happened, and we would have continued racing. But unfortunately, he closed the door, and I could not avoid the contact.
Men who are racing against each other so competitively to actually get on with each other and not fight in this way that's going on at the moment.
I thought it was not possible, but I still think the same. But I think it's also not possible to handle with him, you know. So what can I do? I mean, I stop racing immediately at the end of the year, or I try to do my job and I don't think about him, you know. And I know it's a difficult situation, but I don't think I've done everything to reach this point.
You've had 2 weeks to think about it. Do you think that he deliberately crashed into you?
Absolutely, 100%. And I have, you know, a video here from the helicopter. I have the video from some people. I think it's very bad, you know, to try to prove the things. But I am a racing driver, a lot of experience, and I never lie. I never lie to the press. I mean, very often it was against me because I said things were a bit rude, a bit difficult to understand for a lot of people. But I never lie, and I can tell you he has done 100% deliberately. That's what I don't accept. If there were only 1% chance, I would say, okay, there is a good, but it is not even 1% because it was a corner where I'm flat, you know, in 5th gear, and the only way he could do something, he cut the corner and he hit my wing, the rear wing. So in fact, he did not hit the right wheel or the middle of the car. He hit my rear wing without touching the wheels. That means he just pushed me behind. So, and then from this time, I don't want to speak anymore about that, you know, because it's no value for me, no value for the sport, for the team, for the Formula One, and I think it's very bad. But we reach a point where it's going to be very, very difficult to work very well. That's why I said, you know, after Japan, I still feel the same. I'm thinking of or retiring or to do something. Really?
You're really thinking of that?
Yeah, because it's, what can I do? I mean, you know, I have some children, and it is very bad for me to feel sometimes that my child, who is now 9 years old, could think that I am a bad boy, you know, I do something wrong in the sport, and they don't understand. I mean, I don't want to, I mean, Formula One is a part of my life, part of my career, but it's not everything. And I don't want to look like, I mean, we are very different, you know. I don't want to argue anymore, telling how he is, and he's going to say how I am, which is stupid, because I know how I am, you know, and even if you argue, you still have some, if you can demonstrate that one person is very bad, you still have some fans about this person, and it is no value anymore. But I'm thinking more about my future and about the life after Formula One. I think it's very bad.
You'll go on next year?
I try to, but I want to see how things are going to change, you know.